DX Radio Shop. On the bench today is his Cobra 29 sound tracker. Customer sent this in for repair. The channel display was flickering. When he turned the channel, he couldn't get the digits to line up right. That was a dirty channel selector. We fixed that problem. The volume switch, power switch, is no good. That was another problem with the volume control. He couldn't seem to get good volume out of it. The wipers on this were shot. And your dynamite control was a big issue. When he turned the mic gain off, because he had a loud talkback, somebody put in like a 10 ohm resistor for talkback. You got to put a little bit more impedance, more resistance into that, because 10 ohm is just going to be blaring. You want to just put a jumper across it and call it a day. So they should have put like a 50 ohm or a 82 ohm or 100 ohm resistor to not cause that thing to be as loud on your talkback. And when he turned the mic gain back, that's when he realized it was still squealing. Something was wrong. The dynamite on these 29s, okay, this resistor right here, R146, is a 150 ohm quarter watt resistor. That resistor is not on the prints, not in the schematic at all. Okay, the ground wire comes off the outside lead of your dynamic and it goes down to the ground. So when you turn the mic gain off, it goes through this bleeder resistor, like a shunt resistor is basically what that is, and it will drain your audio to grounds. That way, when you turn the mic gain off, the mic gain's off. There's no modulation passing through until you turn the dynamic back on. Okay, so that was burned out. He was the cause. Well, he was the reason why. The reason why he went bad was because the way they had the echo board all set up inside here was all screwed up with the mic gain. They had, I don't know who did that, but we had to remove the echo board and fix someone else's mistakes and garbage. So on the print here, there's your dynamic. So that's the mic gain control on the front panel. Okay, that's this guy. This is your automatic modulation control, which is the internal pot on the board. The one we're looking at is right here. Okay, that's your dynamic control on the front panel. So if you look, you'll see this is your audio. Okay, then it passes through and goes down towards the audio chip, the mic amp circuit, mic amp transistors through down towards the chip. Okay, here's your ground. So the black wire goes directly to ground. It does not show a bleeder resistor. Okay, that resistor goes right here. This wire actually attaches to one side of the resistor. The other side of that resistor then goes to board ground. They do not show that in the print, but it is a 150 ohm resistor. So keep that in your notes if anybody's watching this video and you come across a problem where your modulation control is not functioning correctly and you think it's the control itself. Check that resistor. If it's burned out, it's because it's not grounding correctly. It's not bleeding that off to keep your audio off and when your dynamic's in the off position. And another way you can check that, if you can't find the resistor, which I showed you in the video here, I'll show you again, just run a ground wire from that terminal, this lead off your dynamic control, to board ground, and then adjust your mic gain. You'll see that the mic gain will work. So again, you can either put that directly to ground or you can put it through the bleeder resistor. The bleeder resistor would be better, really, but it's not on the print. So I wanted to point that out to you guys. And again, from the radio, bottom side, there's your S meter over here, volume control, and there's your R146 150 ohm resistor. Okay, so the black wire right here going down goes to this side lead. The other side of that resistor then goes to circuit board ground. So if anybody has a modulation, like I said, a modulation control has to function. If it's not functioning, when you have that off and you still have modulation passing through on your watt meter, that resistor is burned out. Okay, so it's not the first time I've seen this, but just want to do a little video in case someone's going to chase your tail. We'll shorten your troubleshoot time, and away you go. So there you have it. And the modulation on this thing is just phenomenal. So we're on a 50 watt slug. Now that we got this all ready to go. This was set up with an 8 watt carrier, and he had about 23 watts coming out. Now we got it set up with the 5 watt audio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, about 35 watts out. So we had to realign and adjust this, and it was off frequency. It was about 983 hertz off frequency when we had it on the service monitor. So, but now she's back to good working condition. Everything's functioning the way it should, and life is good. Also with the meter was a problem, and what we found with that was, let me go back to the schematic here and I'll point that out to you as well, in case anybody has any issues with their 29s and you seem to have a problem where your receive needle works, but when you go to key the microphone, the transmit needle does not move. And the reason for that is D12. So if you go to the diode D12, you want to check for 2 volts on transmit and 0 volts on receive. If you do not have that voltage off that diode, then the diode's no good, and that is the cause why your needle does not move when you key the microphone, but it will move in the receive mode. So that was the other problem we had with this as well. There's been a lot of people inside this radio, but we got it all back to where it works great. It'll last a guy a very long time, as long as he doesn't take it to somebody else. This radio should last him a very long time. If there's any questions, you can reach me at dxradioshop@yahoo.com, www.dxradioshop.wordpress.com, and 315-573-9205. We've been working on radios for over 35 years, over 20 states full of customers that mail things back and forth all the time. And we are pretty much the last one here in New York State still standing. We're not going nowhere. A lot of shops have closed. My shop will remain open to the day I die. So if anybody needs any help, feel free to call, email, reach out, whichever, and we will take care of you in the best way that we can.